in reference to, the topic. And the topic is,
What's the
oh,
topic?
this is when men speak. Okay, when men speak. Striving for greatness while in the unstable, uh, unstable, mentally health, unstably, uh, unstable in your mental, something like that. Anyway, so check it out, check it out, check it out. So your boy Chris Rock got slapped. You heard me?
Mm.
And this was over the whole, like, this was the whole world was looking at this. You know what I mean? So no one was expecting this. Will Smith just walks on the stage and just slaps him, and in his shock, uh, shock state, he like, this just happened, and Will, tell him to, keep his wife's name out of his mf mouth, and he said that twice. So of course I'm tired of hearing about this, but we thought, that we should kind of dig into it a little bit, not necessarily speculate like everyone else doing, because I'm getting tired of, people giving their opinions of what they think should have happened, especially Christians. Oh, he shouldn't have did such and such and all this. You know what I mean? As if we ain't got no Peters out there. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna roll up on you like Will did and be like, do the same thing Will did, or even possibly worse. You know what I
We
mean?
what? No what out there?
Huh?
We ain't got no as if there's no what out there.
If we ain't got no Peters out there slicing folks' ears off in the Christian community. Hey, all right. So, do we have any? Do you see anyone on checking us out right now, Miss
Let's
Ingram?
see. It says we have a few viewers. However,
A
there's
few viewers.
hmm
So you guys can ask questions or give y'all thoughts as we wait on the other two individuals to come on. But this is what I was thinking about, like in reference to the topic. Like I'm looking. What?
nothing. Go ahead, sir.
So I'm looking, at okay the setting that we got. Will Smith is about to win an award, which means that he's been striving for success. And in that regard, I guess kind of reached success when it came to getting this Oscar in reference to this movie, right?
Mhm.
And on top of him doing other things as well, as far as, of course, we see that he's still striving for greatness and excellence. This is a guy that we see on Facebook and Instagram encouraging people, having powerful messages, things like that. We know that, he, from our view of him as a, media, and then as avid fans, we see him as a good dude, not a dude that's about, I guess, fighting and doing all these things. And this guy that we view in this positive light goes up and just slapped the mess out of somebody. What type of state was he in mentally to be able to, in such a position that he was in, to even get to the point, the breaking point, to where he just like forgets everything, etiquette, everything, and pull a Peter move on us. You know what I'm talking about?
He forgot etiquette.
You know what I'm saying? Peter said rolls up at the Oscar Awards and just cut his ear off
Oh my God.
and slapped his face. Like, I mean, think about that. How how often have we as men been in a place where we were striving for greatness, giving our very best in everything that we do, being a husband, being a father, on our jobs, just pushing for greatness and excellence. You know what I mean? And then these people look at us, have this certain image of us. Oh yeah, we gonna add you Christians out there too. You know that walk around. I'm highly favored. How you doing today? I'm blessed and highly favored. I won't complain. You know what I'm saying? God is good. You know what I'm saying? We got this persona out there. You know what I'm saying? About how faithful we are to our Jesus. And we preaching God all the time. And then a situation comes up to where we just lose everything in that moment.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, since
As you go ahead, what's up?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Now what you about to say?
Well, since I'm just running a little interference and helping you out until the gentleman can join us, um, can I ask what were your immediate thoughts when this image that the whole world witnessed? What were your immediate thoughts when you saw this? And were you
My immediate and was I what?
empathetic to Mr. Smith?
Okay, tell the world what empathetic means. What's the definition of the word empathetic?
Whoa, whoa. Okay, so um, not feel sorry for him, but was there a level of compassion perhaps then for what he may have been going through, what all could have been circling around in his head at that moment? Because surely he was
You
aware
say
of his surroundings.
you say a level of what now?
Compassion.
Yes. Okay, you asked me what my first thought was, and then if there was empathy. My first thought was, oh man, like, is this like a joke? Number one was this scripted?
Right.
You know what I mean? And then so when I realized that it wasn't scripted and he was, MFing and all that, because I woke up to this. I don't watch the Oscars like that. And so I'm like, dang, like Will had made it to a point that he just didn't care what was going on at the time. To and then I hear this about protecting his family and all this. Now I see both sides of the whole situation. You know what I mean? I see both sides of him pulling at the back. I would like to believe in a correct headspace. This is what you gotta understand. In the correct mental space,
Hmm.
oh man, I got a problem with that. On a commercial break or whatever, I'm gonna pull him to the back and let him know I don't appreciate that. That's in the correct headspace, right? You know, understanding, the environment, you know what I'm saying, and being able to control yourself enough to handle it in a mature way in that regard. Um, because that's protecting your family too. Because he wasn't physically being harmed. His wife wasn't physically being harmed at the time.
Okay.
See what I mean? That's a major difference in rolling up, you know what I'm saying, and throwing blows or pimp slapping somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Um, but for me, in my mind, right headspace, only if she was being attacked, then I would, physically handle that situation or whatever.
Right.
She was being attacked, but she was only being attacked verbally. So in that regard, in the right headspace, I would do that. But in the wrong headspace, and you done caught me, and I already done took some blows, and I feel like my back against the wall, something that simple. Something just that simple. You know how we'll walk around, yeah, even you Christians. Get to the point, even though you love Jesus, you walk up at work and be like, I wish it would. I ain't with it today. I wish it would.
Well, let me play advocate here. Um, since our general audience, target audience, is for men, because we can all, and obviously all of us, a great number of the world. I mean, you're somebody. He's on this world stage. He and his family on this world stage. Chris Rock as well. And so the whole world has seen what has happened, and they are critiquing it, taking it apart piece by piece, and critiquing it.
Right, 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 right,
Can we bring this? Because regardless to his status, his celebrity status, he's yet still a human who has feelings,
right,
has emotions, who is subject to error. He just happened to, what he did just happened to be on a global stage. What
right.
about for individuals who are, as the topic for this particular broadcast, men who are striving for greatness while dealing with mental instabilities? What would you? In fact, let me ask you this: have you ever been in a position where you've been just striving for greatness, whatever that is? You only you know what your target is, your goal is, and so while
Right.
you're on your journey to this particular area of greatness, have you had to deal with some, whether it was chronic or acute, meaning, and just for those who don't know, chronic meaning it's been there for a long time. You've been dealing with it for a long time. Or acute means that it suddenly came upon you. So have you dealt with on your journey to greatness as you're striving to be great, whatever capacity that is for you, dealt with mental instability or mental occurrences that almost had you or did it have you deviate from your course? How did you handle it?
Man, yeah, yeah. I mean, when you think about it, you know, striving for greatness. I mean, life. While we are striving for greatness as men, life still goes on. You know what I'm saying? So whether you're in a good mental space or not in a good mental space,
Mm-hmm.
most of us gonna keep driving forward and continuing, whatever it is to complete the, well, in the military we say complete the mission, but to complete the goal
Mm-hmm.
or whatever it is we be striving to do. Um, and so a lot of times being unstable mentally in the midst of it, if you, I mean, and then again, I don't want to keep using this, but I use the Will Smith situation as an example. It comes acutely, which happens all of a sudden to come upon you, right? That's that word.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that acutely came up, and so with him, because he wasn't in the right mental space at that particular moment, because we can all see that. And to answer your question, yes, I have compassion for him. And I did not judge him and say what he should and shouldn't have done, because I understand, again, even though he's a huge figure like that, I understand the mental.
Okay.
And acutely, that changed the direction of where he thought he was going to be at the time. That was a very critical mental lapse.
Mm-hmm.
To
And so,
now, go ahead.
no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
To now, it's interfering in changing is it trajectory?
Trajectory.
It's changing. It's changing that for him now. Cause now we are starting to see a simple, mistake of being human at that time, because I was caught in a unstable mental place as I'm striving for these goals. Now that I'm in a situation where everything I was working towards is being delayed now,
Well, again,
and my credibility.
right. Well, again, he's a public figure, so we can see the consequences of his actions. But, and I'm hoping, that his perhaps error in judgment will serve as an example for those who may admire him, and even for those who don't admire him. We can all learn from somebody else's mistakes. But what would you say if one of your best friends came to you, who, he shared his goals and aspirations with you, some things that he's attempting to do in his effort, in striving to be great, and he's he's got a little, and I don't want to overuse mental illness or mental instability. I don't want to overuse it, because if we overuse it, then we'll desensitize the importance of it, because it's very important. And
Right.
some people are so driven by their goals and aspirations and dreams and responsibilities that they have learned to function. And I guess that's probably what the conversation somewhat looks like concerning Will, because some people are saying that he's been under pressure. There's been a problem with him, and this particular night he cracked. But some people are so driven to what it is that they have to do that they learn how to function. They deal with depression. They go to work and they're depressed. They can put on a smile, a fake smile, this, that, and the third. But if your friend, let's say one of your best friends, one of your best homies, maybe one of the guys on the panel, they come to you. You know them personally. You know what they're striving to do, yet they are at a point where they are about to break. What would be your what would you say to someone who's on the brink of breaking?
So okay? So if I get the question correctly, you're asking me, for instance, like, and I keep using this as an example. You're asking me if I was the jailer sitting there and he about to go on and he about to get up on the stage type thing.
Well,
Is that kind of what you're asking?
I wasn't necessarily asking from that scenario, and actually, if
No,
we
I'm saying not that scenario. I'm just saying, I'm just using that as an example. You saying that if I'm in a space with my boy, he's striving for greatness, and then some all of a sudden acute happens, like we just said, comes up in the middle of what we doing. You saying how would I respond, or how would I keep him from
well,
going there?
yeah, well, the scenario that I presented was perhaps he came to you and told you, listen, I can't take this anymore. I feel like I'm about to snap. What would you say to someone? That may have been a
You
little
but
unpredictable in that sense. And if the guys don't come back on, trust me, I got some conversation for you concerning this, so we can get to that, because I feel like Jada was complicit to what happened. But we'll get to that. If they don't come back on, I got some conversation for you.
okay? So take it. So I mean, for me in a situation like that, what do I do? Hey, bro, no, man, you got too much to lose. I say stuff like this all the time. You got to count the cost, man. You got to think about, now, what that reaction, there's a reaction to your reaction. So, what I mean, I don't think we should do that, bro. You better than this, bro. You can get through this, man. I understand. And a lot of times, in situations like that, most of the time, as they continue to talk it out,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of it is released,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like women, men don't talk often like that, but when they get to the point, just like kind of like women, when women start flowing, they start flowing and they start listening to you. Ain't even got to answer just by them getting it out. They hearing themselves, and then they were kind of resolving it themselves and seeing things from a different perspective in a lot of ways without me even saying anything.
Okay, I was laughing initially, but you're right. I can say I've experienced that. The more I begin to talk, I hear myself. I'm like, wait a minute, why are you talking about us women like that? But true, true, you're right. So you're right.
So
One,
that makes sense. Did
it
that
does.
answer your question?
It does.
All right, gotcha.
Answer the question. It answers the question. It's really the thing with looking at that. If we kind of break that situation down with Will, though, I guess with that situation, it might be a little unpredictable to get ahead of somebody who's about to snap. A lot of times you can't address something until after it's already happened. The thing
Right.
with when men speak, though, is to give them a reason to pause and think before they act. But if you're in the circumstances that he was, we don't know what the conversation was between Will and Jada before they got to the Oscars, since they were there. The camera wasn't on them the entire time, so they could have been talking through the teeth and things like this.
Right. Right. Right.
Don't know. So
Then the other thing is, You think about all over the years. I mean, they've been in the media for a long time. That stuff been exposed. Will been in situations, you know what I mean. So where everything he's like been emasculated in some ways with a lot of this stuff that took place over this red table talk thing.
Mm-hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? So think about it. He's striving for greatness even in the midst of these things. He had stuff going on and still coming to the red table having to deal with uh what's his name? August, whatever. The entanglement issue thing going on. You know what I mean? So I mean, and you a public figure. You know what I mean? So that's on a whole nother level. But even as a regular individual, like all these things build up, and you continue to take it. People like even in his some of his interviews, he was talking about how he felt like he didn't wasn't a protector. They've been talking about that too, in reference to his mom when his dad was whooping, beating on his mom, and he didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now think about the build up of all these things in just that one moment. I'm tired of y'all punking me. You know what I'm saying? Y'all
I
ain't gonna keep on stepping on my name like this. We don't know.
I got that. I do. I do. As much as we know, and we can always. I mean, we're going to always because none of us, you and I, um, and I would say the viewers that I know of that are watching, we don't know Will and Jada personally, so we can only assume and make assumptions
Right,
about what is going on.
right.
For those people that we're trying to reach, I guess one thing that we could really emphasize is being able to master conflict resolution.
Right.
Emphasize the importance of reaching out for help. Um, because all of us are, there are consequences to every decision that we make, every single decision that we decide to follow through on. There are consequences. Some of them can be major, some of them perhaps not so major. And in addition to that, the consequences don't just affect us, they trickle down. If you have a family, they trickle down to affect your family. And if I would imagine for you gentlemen, particularly those who are married, and for those of you who are of faith, believing that you are the head of the household, there's a lot of responsibility on you. And so you have to, in a split second, think about what your response is, who it's going to affect, will you need bail money, do you even want to respond in such a way that bail money and law enforcement will be involved? And how is this going to affect your family? You have to think about all this stuff like in a split second when you are faced with something that is about to tip you over the edge.
But going back to what you said too, though, like, yeah, we want to reach out when we at those spaces, cause a lot of times that ain't what we do. But it also important to understand that we ain't in this by ourselves, and also it's important who our circle is, because our circle, what I can identify, and with the right people, they gonna be like, "Yo, what's up, dude? Hey, what's going on?" You got the right people in your circle, they gonna identify and see and feel that something ain't right.
This is true.
You know
This
what I mean? So it goes both ways. Because sometimes we pull back. Even some of us have those people in our lives, and we pull back from them. Some of us just don't have people in our lives like that, and we don't want to reach out for help. So it's just, I mean, it's a lot of nuances and depending on the individual.
you're right.
So all of that is important.
I do agree with that. Which I'm sure our viewers, listeners, including yourself, have heard. No man is an island unto himself. We all need friends. That's what we can address that like that and kind of nip that in the bud. For people who have the habit of saying, "I don't need anybody. I don't need anybody." We all need somebody, and that somebody that we have in our life or somebody's, we do have to be mindful of our circle, as you said. And this is where I had an interesting conversation with a friend recently, um, and I was pretty vocal on the fact that I look at Jada when it comes to Will and Jada's situation. I look at Jada a little bit different. I'm a Will Smith fan, and even now with all of this that's happening to him, I'm still a fan. I've always, I've liked Jada too. However, she's, I believe, in my opinion, she is complicit to what happened to her husband. They are a unit, and whatever they have going on personally, although, back to the fact that they are celebrities and so they are in the public eye all the time. Um, I just, I just wouldn't have wanted my significant other. I don't need you proving your love and loyalty to me at the expense of your own soul. I don't. We'll have to discuss this at home. Or, as some people have said, when there's a commercial break or after the Oscars are over, we'll discuss this. But I don't need you defending me at the expense of you, your humanity, your not really concerned about people, because people will eventually forget. This is not going to be um, breaking news much longer. The conversation is going to get boring, as you stated earlier. People are getting tired of hearing about it. So after this all blows over, this man has still got to deal with the backlash and how he feels about himself, how he looks at himself as a man. And I don't want to
Right.
contribute to, you know, if that was my husband, I would not want to contribute anymore to this man's struggle. So as far as a circle is concerned, oh yeah, your circle is very. They need to be able, and you should be able to trust that they can pull you back from the edge if that's where they find you at.
Right. Cause right now he gotta go through the process of it all. They gotta go through the process of it all now. You know what I mean? Because of the act that took place. Man, listen, I know that's on a whole nother level, but we we do it all. We deal with that all the time. You know what I'm saying? People speculating on the outside, thinking they know about, your relationship or what you got going on as an individual, whether you in a relationship or not. Um, and they speculating and you hearing all this going on. Um, and I mean, you find yourselves in situations where you act out. I mean, think about how many people. Man, I'm about to go into this story in a few minutes, but think about how many people are in jail for those moments or got assault charges, for moments like that that didn't warrant the offense didn't warrant, you know, what they received. You know what I
Right.
mean? Um, I just think about that. So, all right. My son runs track, and we was at this track meet, and something happened, um, with some a dude, um, basically, I guess the guy didn't like me. I used to stay away from him, because I kind of feel the crazy vibe, and I
Mm,
saw how he moved, and then my discernment was like, you don't need to really be around this cat, cause it seemed like something. I just felt something, man. It was off, and I felt like if something messed around to happen, me and him would end up getting into. I didn't dislike this dude. I didn't really know him like that. It's just that I don't know. Some things you can just sense.
mm-hmm.
But I always give everybody respect. I gave the dude respect. I'm like, what's up? One of his kid is a great kid, and he one of the top in the nation, like my son is. Um, and so, but the way he used to do, man. And so one at this actual particular track meet, something happened, and he was disrespectful, cause he had been disrespectful a couple times, to my wife or whatever. And I just say, hey, just stay away, don't worry about it, or whatever the case may be, and I let it slide. So, but this particular time, I saw it happening before it happened at the track meet, and I told her because of the position she was in, I was like, listen, if this guy comes, this is what I said 2 days before. I said, if he come with some nonsense, just let just let it go. You know what I mean? And let him know that he can't come get the medals from the tent once the kids when they meets or whatever. And he
Okay.
came over there twice and asked for him, and she was like, "Hey, no, we can't give you these medals." Right? I'm
Mhm.
sorry, hold on one second. He was like, "No, I can't give you these medals and stuff." And so he had an issue with it. He felt like, cause he a part of the team that he supposed to get his medal. So this happened 2 times, and then the third time he came over and said we can't get the medals, and he cussed her out. He cussed my wife out, and then he told this what he said, right? He said, "Go get your ugly husband. I'll whoop his butt." And I'm like, "Look, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had no run in with this dude, but it's letting you know how he was feeling about me. I don't mess with nobody. I just go do what I do and help coach these kids and do what I'm supposed to do to help the team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But apparently, I guess that's what I was feeling on him this whole time, right? Man, let me tell you something. Listen, when I found out about this here, I turned into a whole different person. People were like, "Who is this dude?"
Oh, Peter.
I'm telling you, when I tell you that I was about to go to jail and people were holding me back, and again, I could at that moment, I just lost it all.
Mhm.
I lost it all, and I would have been locked up. I'm telling you to the point to where I thought about what I do to this dude for like the last couple of days. And people during that time, people was holding me back from keeping me from. They was like, "This not you. This not who you are." These folks that just watch me from afar.
Mhm.
They were like, "You don't never mess with nobody." Listen, these folks that I ain't even in no circle with, that just seen me, see how I move. They were like, "This ain't you. No,
Mhm.
no, don't do that. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Don't do that." So I can understand. Again, I feel like I was about to lose my mind because he really took me to that place. But did it warn me? Did it warn me want to hospitalize him? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Did it warrant me thinking and contemplating what I could do to this dude
I
for
imagine.
days and weeks at a time?
I imagine.
Did I get off topic? Are we good?
We're actually great. This story actually is very befitting for this conversation. So, when people were talking to you, at some point, did you get past the immediate anger or whatever it was that you were feeling based on what he said and how he disrespected your wife, and you were able to hear the voices of the people that were holding you back, and it redirected you?
Say you click you glitch. What did you say?
At the point that these people were holding you back, and they began to tell you the things that you said they were saying, you're better than this. This is not you. At some point, did that you at some point you were able to hear this? I'm assuming you were able to hear these voices, pay attention to these people. No?
Hey, I had to call my brother, man. Listen, I'm telling you, I ain't never been in this place. I never been in this place. Only time I was in this place is when I was at war,
Mm-hmm.
when I was locked in. But I was at this place to where I'm telling you, I would have been locked up if I would have had my hands on this dude. And I was in a place to where I'm talking about I felt so much rage that I started cussing. And my brother was like, like, who is this dude on the phone? He like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who is this dude? Right? Like, what? Hey, calm down, bro. He like, I ain't never seen you in no state like this before in my life. And I have never been in the state like that.
Well, evidently something he said though registered with you. I mean, you didn't tell us that you went to jail.
I ain't go to jail. That because at that moment when I start talking to him, They wouldn't allow me. I had man, they protect me. They wouldn't allow me to go towards him. And then right after that, I was so much enraged when I walked away. I called him because I didn't know what else to do.
Mhm.
I was like about to lose it for real. And so I understand the protection piece.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? But again, it didn't warrant it. It was the space that I was in. It didn't warrant what I was about to do to him. Cause when I say I would have been locked up, I really would have been locked up for real.
Okay.
And then but see then I started thinking. Cause normally I'm a person that's gonna think through everything.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying? Like the consequences it's gonna have, my responsibility, all that. But at that time, listen, I'm telling you, that was nothing could stop me other than them people that were between me and they were like, hey, this ain't you, bro. You know what I'm saying? What is like this not you.
Well, what stopped you from breaking free from these people? What stopped you from, because that's
Now
what
I'm
to be able to um, that's kind of what we want the men to take away from this, and those that are in their lives. That you don't have to. You can get to a point where like you were feeling. Um, I'm not taking this. It's not going to happen. But we don't want to see any more of our black men. We are proud of our black men, and we don't want to see any more doing time, or we don't want to see any more black on black crime. We don't want to see that either. So because life happens, what would you say in a situation that was like that or similar to that really had you at a place that no one has ever witnessed you at, other than, like you said, at war? What would you say to someone who's
um
faced with situations like that, or in
yeah,
a
when you say
situation like that?
nobody ever witnessed you like that, I ain't even never witnessed myself. I didn't even know I could even go to that place.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Outside of like bodily harm and protecting. Um, so what was the question again?
What would you
Oh
say?
man.
Because I mean, we got to remember our audience who we're talking to. What would you say then to men who find themselves in the heat of emotions like that? Because if I
You
was
gotta talk your I mean, you gotta get to the point to where ain't nobody there. You gotta start talking yourself through. I mean, and then I think it goes back to what we just said. Like when somebody is there, like you asked me what I would do on the break of one of my boys about to do it. I talk to him, and then I allow him to get out what he's saying, and then he'll start to think about it. I think honestly, we got to walk ourselves through it, and we got to talk. Do I really want to do this? What's the consequences of what I'm about to do? You know what
right,
I'm saying? I think it some type of measurement or control comes, but you have to practice.
yeah, this is true.
You know what I'm saying? It's a skill. It's a skill that you got to build to be like, man, do I really want to do this? Like, is this really warranted? Like, I mean, because we gotta go to questions now. Cause what we at? Dang, we had 40 minutes already. I talked that long.
Yeah.
Dang.
I think
Go
I
ahead.
continue asking the question though, because as life would have it, it's unpredictable, and it could be something very, very simple. We live here in the Tampa Bay area, and one of the things that I notice every summer um, is what happens is incidences with road rage, where people end up getting out of their cars, shooting at somebody. Somebody's actually losing a life over road rage, and to me, that's the dumbest thing ever. Like, you are so angry because someone cut you off, flipped you off, or whatever, that you will stop your car and get out and confront someone and pull a gun and actually pull the trigger over a few moments. And
Right,
what?
but that's a certain mental state. That's a certain state to where you just allowing yourself to be overwhelmed with emotion. And so again, if we know we got those issues, we got to work and build the skill so that we don't allow ourselves to get to those places.
How do you build those skills for somebody
Again,
that's
practice.
okay?
Practice and constantly walking. or you talking and walking yourself through your steps, kind of like an AA meeting. It ain't no different.
Well,
You
I
got certain steps and you, huh?
go ahead.
Like, I mean, think about it. You have certain things that you say to yourself in the mirror. You have certain steps to that walking you through certain things in certain situations. That's what we have to do, and we got to go through those steps.
Right. I think that's what I was alluding to. That there needs to be, that there should be, because although this is for when men speak, this is something that women can actually utilize and put into practice too, because all of us are subject to be pushed out of our comfort zone and tested beyond, you know, our particular or our limits can be pushed. And so I think what I was alluding to is that there, hopefully, those who are listening will set aside or actually think about this and come up with a 12-step program, let's say, um, however many steps it takes to de-escalate the situation in your own mind, not for someone else, but for you, because all of us have a breaking point. And so, even if you're being um, antagonized by someone, you may find yourself in a situation where you can't actually remove yourself from the premises at the time. And what do you do
Right,
when you're constantly being antagonized by someone? So again, I think what I was alluding to is that those who are listening would devise options for yourself. If you can't talk yourself down, as you were able to be able to call someone who can pull you back from the ledge. You listen to people who will, and again, this is for when men speak. But I had a situation where I was accosted by a female on a 6-lane highway, and uh, this lady and I, we began brawling in the middle of the highway. And all I know is a lady out of nowhere. I guess she pulled up on us fighting, and we were locked up, and she got in between us. And I don't know this lady. I don't know her. She doesn't know me, but she stopped me and she grabbed me. She's like, the same thing that these people said to you. You're better than this. Don't let her pull you down to this level. You don't have to do this. And I remember locking eyes with this lady. And for a quick second, I was like, you know what? I hear you. I do hear you, until I looked at my peripheral vision. The girl was kicking my car. And so that enraged me once again. But it did work.
wait. You were rolling on the ground because of road rage.
It wasn't road rage. No, there's a whole nother
Okay,
backstory to that. But no, it wasn't.
okay, got you. You was in the fight. You were throwing them up. You were letting them go.
I haven't always been this
Wait,
demure.
wait, wait, wait. Hold on. Were you letting them go, or was y'all just tussling? What y'all doing? Y'all just tussling?
As I said, we were. I don't, why are we talking about this? We were locked. We were like, she was trying to throw me, and I was trying to keep her from throwing me on the ground. So yeah, that's what that was.
Oh,
That is so funny. Really, you find that amusing. Let's get
hey,
into. We have
questions?
we have comments.
Okay,
Somebody said this wasn't Chris's first time coming for Jada, and that's that antagonistic part that I was telling you about. Sometimes we have to be able to
right,
resist people who are anointed to get on your nerves. Some people just gonna
right,
get,
right,
and we got to be skillful not to fall for the bait.
right. Pray. Hey, I mean, when they say pray for your enemies, I'm telling you that helps. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I did that a couple times, and it really helped me.
Hmm.
I didn't pray against them. I prayed that God would even continue to bless them. You know what I'm saying? So it even changed my perspective and how I saw them and how I interacted with them too. Even though they constantly made things hard for me. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right.
And I think prayer in a lot of instances, man, it can help if we pray the right way. It can help shift our perspective in reference to people and as well as our situation.
Perspective is
You know what I
very,
mean?
it is very, very pivotal. And for those of
Because
us,
being antagonized,
right, those of us who are faith based, those of us who are faith based too have to remember the scripture that tells us we're not fighting flesh and blood. That's not even the battle that we're at. And so the enemy can use people as agents of the devil to agitate you or aggravate you. And nevertheless, at the end of the day, it's still our responsibility to save ourselves whenever we find ourselves in situations like that.
Yeah.
Shall I shall I read the comments?
Yes, ma'am, please.
Okay. This is from Anthony. I know it says from Soul Pieces, but he's an administrator on the page. It says it appeared that initially he being Will Smith, I presume, wasn't going to respond the way he responded because his first response was laughter. Afterwards, there was an aftermath that drove him to that response. He seemed to have been influenced. So now you have the manhood challenge and so much more to include. There you go. Ooh, I guess situations like this would be this. I like the fact that Anthony brought that up, and I know this is when men speak. I'm just here helping you out since our other two panelists are not here right now. But it does seem like that is a big issue with men when it comes to confrontation. Your manhood is now been put on front street, for lack of a better phrase.
All right, so when I look at that, the thing is, was Will doing an embarrassing laugh because he was in public and that was etiquette because he was in that view, and then all of a sudden the response of Jada caused him, even though he felt that way inside and then show it outside, show caused him was her reaction what fueled and caused him to actually express what he felt on the outside. I mean on the inside outwardly through a slap. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So allowing himself to be manipulated by and using the word protect from his perspective at that time and his experiences, using the word, doing all that to justify protect.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
I do. And either point,
Like,
it does seem like his manhood is on display. Everybody, although
right,
we can't get into the minds of these people, but so many people were laughing because they know Chris Rock. He's a comedian. He's a professional. That's his job. He
right,
says things and he talks about people. Jada isn't the only person that he said, jokes about. He's made jokes about. Um, I guess it would just depend. I have very good friends that I talk to. I love being in their company. And I know some of them are great for making me laugh. We have a great time. But there's sometimes they can say some things that are funny. And on another day, I would be laughing. But this is not the day that I'm laughing. I don't want you talking about me today. I don't want you making, little wise cracks about me today. I'm not laughing. And I think now for us, what I was about to say is I think we need to be good at reading the room when we're around our friends. Read the room. However, at this particular setting, that's what he does. That's what the host does. They open up their monologue is about jokes, perhaps people they target people that are right there up front. I'm not really sure how that goes, but his job as a comedian, he wasn't doing anything that he does not do on a regular.
right. And again, the build up, just like Anthony said, of all the other things.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then not just that, like he said, Will seem like okay, he was saying laugh it off, but again, and etiquette in places like that. And it appeared that that's what he was doing, laughing it off. Not necessarily that it was funny to him. It probably hurt. You know what I'm saying? And he may have been frustrated about it, but what did it say? The straw, the camel that broke
The
the
straw.
straw that broke the camel's back. The straw that broke the camel's back is when he looked at her
Right.
and she rolled that eye, and that was it. It was over. Peter went on stage and cut that ear off.
I'm gonna make this a little bit more personal. We're at 49 and counting. So when this happened with your wife, were you were you enraged because of what he said to your wife, or what he said about you? Because he didn't say anything to you. He said it to your wife. Is that correct?
Right, to my wife.
Okay.
So
So when
that was it.
because he said it to your wife.
Right.
Okay.
He
Well,
called her he called her a couple words, inappropriate words, and then say, "Go get your ugly husband. I'll whoop him too."
okay.
So I don't care about the, you know what I'm saying. The thing is, you can come at me all day, but so that's what I'm saying. I can understand the protecting thing. You know what I mean? I get it.
Okay. Here's another comment. Right. And sometimes this is a moment of proper reasoning and taking the lead as to do what's best for the family. She may be angry with me for a moment, but the conclusion of the matter is ultimately I save my family and others from so much more heartache and pain.
Right.
I agree with
So
you.
any other statements from anyone else? Any other viewers?
Nope. Still for a great point.
Excuse me.
Okay. Right. I was just about to say you have to make it practical. It's not an easy process and it may be challenging, but in order to grow in those areas, it takes working on self. We can only
Right.
control what we do. We're responsible for our actions.
Right.
Right.
I mean, it was shocking to say the least, though. Will? No, not Will. Chris? No, not Chris.
Yeah.
We all gonna go through stuff, man. We all go through things. And everybody got their opinion. For me, again, I had compassion and reverence to it, man, and I would just feel sorry, like, dang. And understanding that we human. And now everybody trying to make money off his mistake. And of course, he losing money because of it. I mean, so now he just got to go through the process. And as a friend, to those of you that made critical mistakes like that, listen, go through the process. It's fine. It's okay. You ain't perfect. They just caught you at a vulnerable time, and at that moment, it was the perfect situation, the perfect circumstance. Even though you striving, for greatness, and you was in that challenge came at a time to where you reacted in a way that you wouldn't normally react. It's okay.
I
Go
agree.
through the process.
I agree. We're at 53 minutes and counting. There are currently no other comments at the moment. And it sounds like that would have been a great closing statement. However, um, did you have anything else you wanted to say to close out this segment?
No, man, we could just go ahead and pray. Hey, I apologize that my counterparts are not here today. It was a lot. It's been a lot of things happening, but we wanted to make sure that we stuck to our word and came on here live. Um,
Absolutely. And
and
thank you.
we hope you guys receive what you need to receive. I hope this topic, it's been redundant, and I've been kind of tired of it. Actually, I haven't even really been on social media or watching TV because of it. Um, but I hope that this helped you guys quite a bit. And thank you, Miss Ingram, for sitting in that seat for us today.
Absolutely. I love this platform, so I will be here when needed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Well,
Anything you need to say?
no, other than a thank you for our faithful viewers who came on and participated with commentary, and things of that nature. I really do appreciate your support.
Yeah, can you close us out in prayer?
Absolutely. Precious God, we thank you. We forever give your name praise and thanks for who you are, God. Father, we thank you, oh God, for determination to go forth, oh God, even when the platform had to change up, God. We thank you that we are set on doing exactly what it is that you have called and commissioned us to do. Father, I pray that whomever was on this broadcast tonight and those who will watch the replay, I pray that they're able to take something that was said and be encouraged, God. I pray, God, because we realize that living this life, we're always going to be, there's always going to be a time, one day, sooner or later, that we will be provoked, God, to act out of character. But I pray that someone will think differently and devise a plan, God, that will be their saving grace whenever that time comes for them. It is in the strong name of Jesus that we do pray and give your name thanks. Amen.
Amen. Until next time in 2 weeks. See you guys later. Peace.